Hey Timo,
How you doing, my friend?
very good when I see you. Where are we now?
We're in the lab, in well, actually in your lab, and
You forgot the name of the town, right? Because it's hard to pronounce.
I completely forgot that. It's called for the English-speaking people Mönchengladbach.
Mönchengladbach.
Gladbach?
Mönchengladbach.
Okay.
That's English.
What is Mönchengladbach famous for?
Yeah,
Apart from yours.
the football team, of course.
Yeah.
Borussia Mönchengladbach.
I heard they won today, so you're happy, man.
Yeah,
Okay, very good.
the question is what is today?
So while we're sitting here and asking ourselves stupid questions, we asked ourselves the same, and then we thought, okay, let's pin down 5 questions to each other. So I'm asking 5 to him, and he is asking 5 to me. And I would say
To start, the guest may start.
okay. So, well, my first question I wrote down spontaneously is, knowing you a little bit better now, what drives you every day to do what you do, like a wizard in production, performance, and creativity since, honestly, a very long time? I mean, early 90s. What drives you every day?
Similar question.
Yeah,
You're
obviously.
copying my question.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah,
no reason not to answer.
Yeah, 30 years of electronic music. Maybe you've never heard that I studied medicine before I started with music.
Okay.
So after school, I studied medicine and I couldn't wait to go from the university to the city center of Düsseldorf in order to visit one of the 3 record stores there.
Which one was it at the time?
Sounds Good Records, Studio One Records, and the third one I forgot. Yeah, and I was already so keen to buy records, to play records, and then I stopped to study and the music took over. And nowadays I would say living and dying for electronic music. It's the only thing I can practice. There's nothing else. Don't ask me to hammer a nail into the wall. That could be a bad experience. Yeah, there's nothing else I can do. I love what I do, and I'm pretty sure I speak for you as well, right?
The name of my last like studio album was a while ago already, but it was called Lifer, Lebenslang, and I mean that's
Lifelong battery.
lifelong. I don't know if it's a lifelong battery, but it's a lifelong mission, that's for sure. I mean, in the end of the day, I mean, what drives me today, mainly the love to the music. To be very honest, it's like, everything else around changes, the way of traveling, the perception of music, everything. But me personally, I just love it to be behind the decks, or like to be in a nice studio environment, being creative with creative people. I have to say, guys don't know, but we're having a really good fun since a while here. And
I think the guys know when you follow us.
yeah,
The socials, I'm pretty sure
they might. And
know about it.
it's we discovered some, what can I say? And again, this is why I love my profession so much. We discovered something we had like a few months ago we had no idea of. And if it's like the relationship to each other, if it's the knowledge, the exchange of knowledge, we're both like since even longer in this field, and proudly say that we're possibly not the first, but at least the second wave that came from Germany, and took this kind of sound also in all corners of the world with a little bit of pride. Yeah, a lot of experience sitting here, but come on.
Now my question, right? Wow, I'm getting deep already. So,
Okay.
Timo, what is the last song or track you would like to hear before you die?
Mark, I can tell you this is not the first time. Mark, this is not the first time someone asked me that.
Oh.
Over the years, I was always thinking if it changes, but I don't think so. The so-called last song, or this song, you're on this lonely island and you can listen only to one song, that would be definitely Roy Ayers. Everybody Loves the Sunshine. Always the same answer for a very good reason. So if you don't know this song, please listen to it. It's just something.
The sunshine.
It's just something very, very beautiful with a very warm vibe and just like with an energy that I would love to carry for the rest of my life. Amen.
Wow, nice one.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Oh,
Wow. 3.
Impatient,
Uh-huh.
a big heart,
Uh-huh.
and on earth to make electronic music.
There's a bit more about it, but I accept it as okay, cool. Please.
But what about you? I mean, it's not planned as a question, but counter question. Describe yourself in 3 words. Describe before I come to my second actual question. The boomerang comes back, as you can.
I'm a fiber. I'm
Not to misunderstand wrongly with the German word Weiber.
no, I mean, I guess, I got my certain vibe. As a Leo, I think I'm
Yes, Leo.
generous, big heart, I would say also. And don't fuck the fucker.
True words.
As a Leo, that could be more than 3, but I'm always honest.
Wow.
But don't fuck the fuck.
Wow.
Are you scared already?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, nice one. I hope I can read my own writing. We stay a bit with the death. Are you afraid to die?
I am actually. I am. I can't really describe that. I think
And maybe as a second question, sorry to interrupt you, if you believe in reincarnation, it's maybe a nice additional question.
I'm afraid because I kind of never learned like more relaxed talk conversation about death in my family. I experience obviously death in my family, but I would say, I mean, I told you I'm an honest guy, so I think when I would need to think a little bit more about this, not to be so afraid of that. I can't really describe that, but I guess it's one of my experience in my youth that caused that, like lack of information, lack of thinking. So, very honest. So, what was the second part?
I believe in reincarnation.
No, actually, I don't. I do believe.
You think it's over, the light will be switched off, and that's it?
I guess there's something that is beyond our expectations or imaginations, to be very honest. I mean, for me, there is no gods or anything like that, but there is obviously something that kind of like, lets life in all its forms, create that what it is right now. There is something, but it's not a person, it's not a book, it's not something like that. It's not like
Not a man with old man.
Oh, it's not. And then, hey, come on, we're in a modern world. Is it a man? Is it a woman? So, but there is something. Yes, I think I don't like this idea of like dying and then being reincarnated in a bird or worm or a synthesizer. Yeah, it's like I don't know. It must be a life. You just don't know, but. I don't really believe in that, to be honest. And I do believe in spiritualism. I'm married to a Peruvian woman. It's hard not to be because they are super spiritual.
She teaches struggle. She dives into it.
Yeah, actually she does. It's like looking, what we say, über den Tellerrand schauen. So looking beyond,
Looking out of the box.
exactly. And this is what I am maximum, but it's not, it's like, I'm going to come back as a rabbit. No. I have an interesting one, nothing to do with that. What's the most exciting phone number in your mobile phone? That's a good question, because I know you know such a fuckload of people.
You mean in terms of the number?
In terms of like, you know, having
Of the constellation of the number?
of the
Constellation, your number. So his number is +491. He has an amazing phone number. Holy Moses.
no, I don't. I mean, who, you know, more the name, not the number itself. Yeah, the phone number is cool. I know. No, I mean, who is the most exciting contact in your phone book? Asking the question like that. I know, and you know a lot of people. I know. Or I ask the question differently. Who would be your dream phone number in your phone book that you don't have yet, or you will not be able to because the person is not there anymore?
Yeah, this is a better question because
Okay. Take this. Where's the answer?
everybody's worth to be phoned in my address book.
I'm pretty sure.
For sure, the Dalai Lama. I mean, he's such an exceptional person.
Do you actually have his
I'm trying to, but
So,
but also Gandhi. If you can phone back into time, would be interesting.
that's what I mean, yeah.
I toured in India last autumn in 2022, and I visited a very tiny but very interesting Gandhi museum in New Delhi. And I was so impressed by this person. And his biography, please check it out. You can read it on Wikipedia. It's highly interesting. And I would love to meet him and to ask him a few questions where he has all this power from to stay brave and not to give up. That's extremely impressive.
But stay, please, spend a long time with us. You have enough time then after reincarnation to meet him back.
But maybe in heaven I can.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh, we need you a little.
Yeah, I mean, no problem. I will stay.
Just saying. Yeah.
Okay, Timo, what are you thankful of? You can name more than one thing. So, what are you thankful of?
I'm thankful of the very moment to be here, but also here in this environment, but also to be here in life, knowing, you know, I've tried to do something good, like everyone kind of like wanted in the world, for people. And I'm very grateful and thankful that I'm here. I've experienced so many things in my life, crazy things, good things, bad things. But I'm super grateful for all this life experience. I'm super grateful that I remember most of it, not all, for reasons, good reasons. And I'm also thankful to still be able what I love the most. When I was very young, I came from like not so good family. I didn't have friends and so on and so on. And I discovered that music is my language to speak to people. So when I started like paying interest into music as a boy of 8-9 years or so, sitting in front of the radio and like taping like the long 12-inch versions like from the radio and shit like that. When I loved music so much, and then at a certain point in very young age, I realized people are talking to me. I didn't need to kind of pretend what I wasn't. I just tried to kind of express my feelings with music, and this is something that was possibly the most important language I learned in my life, and that also I carried until the very day of today. It's like, I like to talk. Everyone knows it who knows me. You experience this right now. But I think the best way of communication for me is because it was always music. I can express like pretty much every feeling with that. And with over 40 years of DJing and stuff like that, it's like, I think I have understood how to touch people's soul with that, what I love so much.
I have another one now that you're talking about it. If you have the chance to see a video where you can watch the 12-year-old Timo would you be able to predict that music would become your core in life?
For sure, a hobby, yes. Because I started super early, and
But as a profession as well. I mean,
with 12 years you don't say too much about the profession, but with 10 years I remember we had this poesy album, we called this in school, and then you were favorite color, favorite this, favorite that,
maybe you should.
and then like what is your it's like, it's like what we all have mobile phones, but we had this little like books, and then we gave it like to all the school friends and put in it your favorite color, your favorite person, your favorite animal, and just like as kids do, like with the age of 10. And then also, what is your dream job? And with the age of 10, I was saying chef, because I love okay, chef or DJ. With 10.
DJ
With 10. But it was not cool at all, but I was always...
but 1 moment. It was in 1979.
Yes.
More or less.
Yes.
So you knew already the term of disc jockey?
No, not really the term of, but I mean, I have heard of things. I was listening a lot to the radio.
This is impressive that you were a DJ in 1979.
Yeah. Chef or DJing. I started like doing the best fried potatoes and shit like that with the age of 7. I had 2 things. I told you, it's like I don't want to say, and with all respect, and I know, it's I don't have this disease, but I was kind of autistic either in cooking and in music. So for me, that was religiously, I was sitting in front of the radio
With a television.
totally. I loved it. And then there was obviously, I mean, in such a long life, there were like, certain moments, music I heard that changed me completely. Jean Piaget, for example. I listened the first time was 11 or 12 to Jean Piaget, like the first 3 albums, Equinox, Magnetic Fields, and Oxygen, changed my complete life. It changed my life. I told him that I had the opportunity to meet him a few years ago.
I think you were not the first one.
No, and funny thing is, I was like a schoolboy and was like on the Congress and blah blah blah. I was coming up to him like a schoolboy and just want to say, hey, my name's Timo Maas, and you changed my life. And then he said, oh, you're Timo Maas. I really love your stuff since a very long time. And I was like speechless, because this guy really, without him, I would probably completely somewhere else in life. But for sure, I would not be like so much in love with electronic music and all that. Because for me, he's much more important than Kraftwerk, and much more, with all respect, much more important than anyone else. Pink Floyd, maybe not to name. I'm talking too much. Do I have another question for you? Yeah, I have 1 more.
I have 2 more. So it's my turn.
It's your turn.
Okay, I hope I can read my writing again.
You need my glasses.
Alright, so imagine the following scenario. You are the first human being who could talk to an alien, or more aliens. What would you ask or tell the alien when you have the encounter with, let's say, one alien who is walking out of the UFO and saying, here I am?
It's like, tack, 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 tack. There's so many like different directions you can go from, yo, dude, don't fuck the fuck up, to, yeah, exactly, to, hey, yo, mate, how you doing? It's like, peace. Let's have a chat. Let's smoke one, be relaxed. But where the fuck are you coming from? Tell me about it. That would be awesome. I mean, when there would be a communication. But in reality, I do believe that there's something else in any kind of life form apart from us. I mean, I don't think aliens are, a complete like imagination of like whatever, film, books, science, whatever. But I think that there I'm one.
So you think that aliens exist?
Absolutely, but just not how we expect it. I don't think they fly around in spaceships. I even don't think they have any kind of... that might happen, seriously, that might happen on some kind of other kind of spectrum that we just don't know. We don't know about this existence, but there is something. And it will be for sure so completely different than any of the freaky, like, Hollywood regisseurs would imagine and they put it into a movie. It's not that, it's something else, but for sure there's something.
Okay, but
Yeah.
that's not enough. So, what would you tell him or her or it? I don't know. Let's say you want to describe the Earth in brief words. So, what would you tell this creature?
Go philosophic to be.
Hello, I'm Timo, and
Hey, yeah, that for sure. Yeah.
Earth. You have landed on Earth, and now I tell you about this planet.
I would suggest to cook a big pot of tea first of all, and like sit down because this needs a little bit more time. Let's say when I would need to describe that to someone who doesn't know it, I would say it's quite a wild place. It has definitely light and shadow in all its forms, and Mr. Alien, you have no fucking idea what these forms are. It's quite wild and weird here. And I would probably also say there is this kind of like life form called humans, and they're everywhere, but they haven't learned to live with each other. So I would say there will be only a period of time on this planet, and maybe, I don't know, maybe you go for another drive around the universe, come back, and there will be something else that is probably less problematic. Generally, the more far you look onto Earth, the more beautiful it is. So when you look from the outside, you see this beautiful blue ball over there, and it's just absolutely awesome. And the closer you get, obviously, you also kind of see more stories, you see more detail. Some is just absolutely amazing, but also some is just absolutely scary. And but it's definitely worth it to get to meet at least the nice part of it.
Good.
Yeah. Okay.
Answer.
Okay.
Approved.
Okay.
Check.
I have
All right.
I have one
question. Yeah.
I have one more. And I mean,
Please.
we're going back from philosophy and all that shit into the real life. Work-life balance, Mark. How do you manage our definitely tiring lifestyle with the so-called real life as a family father? What's your recipes?
That's a very classical interview question.
It is, right?
And I would say that you have to include your family a bit into your life and excite them for what you are doing. So I basically have not really problems with this, because I have a woman on my side which really understands what I'm doing, and she experienced the wild rave times in the 90s together with me. So she accompanied me many times.
1890s or 1990s?
1990s. So it's not really a problem for me, and everybody who knows my woman, my wife, knows what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
She understands this very weird species called musician and artist. This is out of the question. And I don't see this really as a problem. And I like to include my people. I took my family to many places where I also played, such as South Africa, Iceland, Dubai, and many other places. And I've never seen this really as a problem. So work-life balance works very well because I love what I do anyway.
And you're taking care of yourself. I can say that I've experienced that now.
Oh, don't display me too clean and
we don't show all
Just wrong.
we don't show all the sweets in the kitchen, huh?
Yeah, correctly.
No one's perfect.
Yeah, I know it.
Cool.
I have more.
Oh, damn.
You wanna finish, right?
No, of course I will.
Oh no, we must tell the people a bit more. I have one question more, and actually I have another question. So, my last question is a bit like, your first question. So why are you still making and performing music after all the time? Isn't it boring you? And maybe a few further words about it.
Well, yeah, I kind of like got into that like early on. I mean, it's like I discovered music as my language, and I don't want to speak. I don't think that my story is from the point of view of my bubble. Yeah, my story is not told yet. So it's like
that's a very good introduction for my next question.
And good. And I just, for me, the best moments, no shit, is when I'm behind the decks or when I'm in the studio, when I'm also in a creative environment like here. This is just so super inspiring. The travels, the jet lags, the this, the that, no sleep. You know, it sucks. But you know this yourself, you know, I found over all those years a routine to handle that and to not overthink that, because it's a necessary thing to do to reach what I want to do the most. Playing music, like performing music, even, you know, taking the younger generations by the hand and help them, you know, reach their goals and share, most importantly, the experience. I mentioned 40 years of DJing. I released my first track long time after you, but 1994. That's nearly 30 years. And I have had the luck to experience everything from very down there, like flat face in the shit, to very much up there. I've kind of done it all. And I'm happy to share that. It's like it's a thing I was putting quite a lot of like energy into in the last years, also in the pandemic, to be also there, to don't have a distance to like the next generation. Oh, look, you know, the legend, this and that. No, and you know, it's like I'm happy to share this, what I understood the most in my bubble, yeah. And my experience is also that the sound like Techno-Gruppe here, aber that the young generation, they appreciate, they like this. It might not, everything might be new, but they appreciate that there is someone who has seen like all facets of the whole thing, and who is still like a bit nuts, crazy, a bit strange and weirdo, what I am, and what I am proudly. So I like to still get out of the box and rumble here and there where no one is expecting it, which we also did.
Which leads me to two questions already. So it leads me to another question. So let's change the perspectives. What do you think the audience, so when you are going to the party, and what do you think is the perspective and the expectation and the feelings of the people who are attending your parties? I'm pretty sure you have already thought about this, but sometimes I have the impression that, let's say, people like us are a bit forgetting about what it means to many people. I've just seen a documentary about a rave party in Europe, and it was visited by a couple from El Salvador, a rather poor country, and they went there after the marriage, and they had to make lots of pictures for all their friends, and they wanted to send all the pictures by WhatsApp so that all their friends in El Salvador could kind of participate at the party, the festival. And I was really impressed because this couple, it was the most important thing in their life, besides their family, to visit a party, to visit a festival in Europe and to enjoy it. And I'm pretty sure they spent a lot of money they could have spent for other things. Okay, now I extended my question a little bit, but please let me know how you feel about it, because I think it's something very important.
My crowd is extremely important. my mission towards my crowd is, from my point of view, from, you know, the ideal case scenario is they should kind of like trust me and leave it to me to take them on a journey. They, in the best, always talking about, you know, the best case scenario, cool club, full cool system, blah, blah, blah. You know, the environment should be right for that. Just take them on a journey. I mean, there's different kind of like communication ways in DJing, obviously. There's so many different ones. I would rather say that I'm...
Sorry, short, just quickly, when you say taking on a journey,
Yes.
what does it mean actually for you? Is it like, hey, I'm the pilot, come on my plane and we fly? Or how can I imagine what you mean with...
I mean, you know yourself how much power actually a DJ has and how sensitive the DJ usually should use this power. I had situations that the club owners came to me and said, hey, 2-3 tracks with a little less energy, we can't control it anymore. This is what I mean, you have the power. So you all, when you understand what you're doing there, and not just like playing one track after the other, you create, this is how I see it, I create with my tools, with the tracks, my own.
But where's the journey going? I mean, I hear this many times. I want to take the people on a journey, but which journey? Where's the journey going?
Well, in the
Specify it.
It depends also on the crowd. The crowd is leading me. I'm the Freigeist. I'm like the kind of like
Whisperer.
I'm kind of like sucking in the atmosphere. I'm kind of like, I think I'm pretty good in all of us with a long experience. We're pretty good in reading a crowd and see them acting and see them appreciating this. You know, this is how I think. I see them appreciating certain moments. Usually when I love to play longer sets, I love to play 3-4 hour sets what is the journey? I want to come back to that. The journey is my imagination, how you ideally, everyone's different and this is the art form, but in my way, I try to kind of interpretate electronic music my way. It's like, you know, it's a mix of, you know, new tracks, weird sounds, new production, but also, you know, most importantly, feelings that I try to create, atmospheres. Like, you know, it's like, I don't like it to always bam, 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 smack everyone's face with like loud, overloaded tracks or so. I try to, you know, work out your moments, you know, when you have just like open eye for 15 minutes and then it comes and everyone's just fucking freaking out because they are demanding that, yeah. But also, I would never kind of like limit myself to a certain music direction too in this part of the trip. So I'm trying to, even for me, weirdo, like trying to find like unusual tracks with like certain feelings that the people probably don't hear so much in other clubs or maybe other clubs and other DJ sets. And I create my very personal sound of that. I quite often get the question, what is the sound you're playing? How would you, this tech house? Is it like, I always say it because it's easy, it's Timo sound. But I would rather say it's, as I'm not so much like, you know, you kind of just open the box, this Timo. Because as soon as you do that, I'm already there. And when you arrive there, I'm already there. It's like, I like the challenge. I like to challenge myself, and I also like to challenge my crowd in entertaining them very good on ways they don't know yet. Tricky question.
Yeah, that's the reason why. And I have a very last question, and then we come to the end, and you are released. I can imagine people are saying, okay, guys, please talk about music. I mean, you are doing blah, 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 and philosophy, blah, 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 but hey, please talk about music. And okay, we will do this now. We will talk about music because we have finished our very first track together, and now is the time for some cross-promotion.
Knowing, you know, briefly, but knowing each other since such a long time, we really have to say,
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
the close way just for 2-3 bites now.
yeah.
Not even. Okay, so we have just finished a track, and the track is called Die Zeit, which means the time in German, and it has a vocal snippet which says: Hartnäckig weiter fließt die Zeit, die Zukunft und die Vergangenheit.
Zukunft wird Vergangenheit.
And now what does it mean, and why have you favorized this vocal sample?
Oh, I have this.
We're a little philosoph, right?
Yeah, I got my moments sometimes, but it's like hartnäckig weiter fließt die Zeit, like constantly the time.
Okay, let's translate it.
Yeah. Constantly the time is running not down, but is going on. The future will be the past. I would rather see this as like a message of live in today. We are in today right now, and probably even it doesn't matter what we do. Like tomorrow will be a day later, will be yesterday. I mean, it's very important not to forget to live right now, not to forget to be also right now, even if it's all over. And let's say we have better times, bit fucked up times generally in the world right now. And I don't want to be too philosophic, but I just think to have a little think of where we are, right, all of us right now. You know, it's just a little, hopefully a little inspiration of maybe sometimes taking things not too seriously, but as well taking yourself and life and the appreciation of the here and now like very serious.
So the sample means that time is constantly sliding by and sliding by and sliding by, and then it says
the future will be the past.
Well, the future will be the past, and maybe the past will be the future. Okay, here comes the story to give you some insights. I was just about to play the first kick drum when we decided to hang out in the studio together. And when I played my first kick drum, literally, he said, "Hey, I have this vocal sample, we have to use it, please." So it was his idea to use the sample. And I said, yeah, sounds cool. But the message is, I mean, more than just a dance track.
Yeah, that it's obviously. I mean, it's like even if it's only like small hints. I mean, since I make music, I always try to bring something in where at least when someone is open-minded to kind of course, when you do something, it's the first day of the rest of your life. Okay, that was something like that too, but it's time to get down. Yeah, hey, it's time to get down. In the best case scenario, you have when you're working with vocals in a track or when you're writing songs, different story. Also, that the vocals and like the lyrics, most importantly, are just have a completely different level of importance. At least I always try to, no matter with who I am and what collaboration, what like kind of a constellation I'm working, I try to do something that is unusual, feels unusual, is special, has a certain meaning, but not just something, hey, your hands in the air, or so you did never hear of me.
Put your hands up in the air, so our next one.
Yeah, right. Let's see. Maybe we do a remix of that.
Yeah, anyway, the vocal sample was right up my alley because my favorite hashtag in my post is "Life is too short," and this has simply the meaning that I think it's time to use the present moment and to do something and not to wait for something.
You know what the funniest thing is about that? We're talking here like really like techno opened about a fucking bomb. You know, I can't wait to play that out in the clubs. And I don't want to. I mean, we're serious in what we do. Obviously, we don't take ourselves too seriously.
We are very proud of these tracks,
and we're very much looking forward to like present it very soon on an interesting platform for you guys. And nothing more. I always say music is, you cannot describe in words. You just have to feel it, and you just have to experience it.
It's like dancing to architecture.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks a lot. It was a big pleasure.
Yeah, cool. So do we get on Netflix now? Do we have our own show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Bye.
Right.